what do you feel like you've learned in these first 16? And the reason why I say that is if I look at the Aces past, right? I believe they started, when Becky took over, started off 13-3. They had a historic season when they went 34-6. They started off 15-1, and then they started off 10-6. This year, obviously 8-8. So, can you describe to me or take us through these first 16? And if you can give us a word that can kind of give you that full depiction of the first 16, what would you think it would be? And, what are you guys learning? Like, what are you guys learning each and every game? I know you guys saying communicate. And I know Becky was mentioning that, like, that was a full 40, but like, what else have you been learning from her as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different for all of us, and obviously for the Aces, right? Like, it's a different journey. But I'm also looking at each person on our roster and what each person has been through coming into this season, last season, whether it's, losing someone close to you, a change of scenery, a different phase in your life, all these things. And so when you're trying to like take the next level of success, sometimes like it feels different. It's another weight, another barrier on your shoulders, and it's hard to be great. It's not easy, right? It's sometimes people make it look very easy and look effortless, but it's not. And the thing that I always will, have so much respect for, and I don't know, like, just appreciative of like the hard work. Like, it may not seem like, oh, this team is not, a championship team, or they're 8-8. Like, what's going on? They're not consistent. Like, we know all the things. We hear all these things all the time, but the one thing that has never stopped is our work. And that's literally the only thing we know how to do, is just get back up and just try again. Like, get back up and work harder. Like, and that's something that this team, like I said, people have been through a lot of stuff. And when you kind of get to know each player, you realize, like, man, like, your story, your journey is like, how are you still here? Like, how are you still doing this? And then you realize, like, man, like, you've been a fighter your whole life. Like, Becky's been a fighter her whole life. Like,
Yeah.
And when you have that as like in your back pocket, you realize, like, okay, we can play basketball harder. Like, we can do this. Like, we've been through life stuff that like actually affects like a lot of things. We could play basketball and we could do this. And so, yeah, it looks different, we know that. And at the end of the day, like, we're still in the hunt. Like, we're not out, so it's like, it's this point, like, you want to be able to stand up and be like, we're good, so like, we still got to work at it. And that's the thing that never changes, is our work. Like, no one's coming in like, oh my God, life is over. Like, no one's like, just getting dragged in, right? It's like,
but sometimes totally feel you.
Yeah, because sometimes that can happen, like in anything. It's like, dang, like, you just harp on it, and just like that negativity kind of just normally just brings you down. But it's not like that, and that's like really hard to do. Like, when things aren't going your way, it's really hard to still be positive and still come in and do your job, still laugh. Like, the other day in practice, we were like having the best time ever, and it's like, we understand like who we are as people, like what we have around and what we're appreciative of, and we're not taking this for granted at all. And it's just, we're just 8-8, like, but nothing about what we're trying to do and who we are is average. We know that. It's just,
no, 100%.
That's what's where, this is where we are. And so you take it, but you definitely want to work, and that's all we can honestly do, is just work and make the most of it, and still achieve what we want to do. And that's still, we still see it. And that's that's just the belief we have in this team, and the belief we have in each other, which makes it pretty awesome to go to work every day.